Have you ever looked at the palm of your hand and noticed a mark resembling a crescent moon? Maybe you thought it was just a coincidence, a natural skin fold, something unimportant. But according to the spiritual teachings of Buddhism and ancient Asian traditions, this mark is much more than it seems. It is a sign that your soul carries a special mission, and that 2025 will be a year of powerful revelations for those who bear this symbol. The crescent moon represents expansion, awakening, spiritual transition. And when it appears etched into someone's palm, it's as if the universe is whispering, "You are ready for the next stage." It doesn't matter how your life has been until now. If you have this mark, something very profound is about to happen. According to monks, this is a rare, energetic signature that only appears on people who are about to go through a series of spiritual, emotional, and even material changes. In this video, you'll discover the 6 things that could happen to you in 2025 if you have this symbol on your hand. We'll talk about internal transformations, revelations about past lives, awakening of hidden gifts, and changes that could completely alter the course of your journey. And even if you don't yet understand what all of this means, your soul already does, and it's trying to tell you. So if this message stirred something inside you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next signs from the universe. And write this phrase in the comments: "I accept the awakening of my soul." This affirmation opens paths, because when you recognize the sign, the universe responds. In Buddhism and various Eastern esoteric traditions, the body is seen as a mirror of the soul. Nothing is by chance. Signs, marks, lines, spots, and hidden symbols carry messages that can only be read by those who are spiritually aware. One of the most enigmatic and rare of these marks is the crescent moon on the palm, a curved, soft line that often appears as a natural fold or a faint half-moon-shaped line. But according to monks, when it is present, it means there is something special about you. The crescent moon represents spiritual rebirth, expansion of consciousness, and preparation for a new evolutionary stage. On the palm, this symbol acts like an energetic seal, indicating that the person is approaching a period where great inner truths will come to light. It's as if the soul is ready to remember something that had been forgotten, gifts, wisdom from past lives, or even a mission that had not yet been awakened. This sign is a silent and profound calling. Buddhist masters teach that the moon mark doesn't appear on just anyone. It tends to show up on people who are closing a cycle of repetitive suffering, often without understanding why the hardships happen, and are about to begin a journey of greater clarity, inner peace, and realignment with Dharma, spiritual path. It doesn't mean it will be easy, but it means the soul already has enough strength to face the challenges and become more aware of its true destiny. If you carry this symbol, look at what it represents with care. It's not just an external sign, it's a reflection of what is changing within you, and this change will be felt in 2025 more intensely than ever before. The time of doubt is falling away. Now begins the time of inner listening, of expansion, and of surrender. Because those who have the moon in their palm have light on their path. The first thing that starts happening to those who have the crescent moon in their palm is something that can't be seen, but can be felt: spiritual awakening. Suddenly, things that once seemed normal start to feel uncomfortable. Empty relationships, heavy environments, repetitive patterns. Everything begins to feel too small for someone who is about to expand. The soul starts to whisper louder. You feel an almost inexplicable urge to isolate yourself, to rethink everything, to be silent, because you are hearing an inner call that can no longer be ignored. This awakening doesn't come with outward explosions. It arrives like a soft but constant discomfort that pushes you inward to yourself. And in this deep dive, you begin to remember who you are. A sharper intuition emerges, a connection with subtle things, signs that seem like coincidence, but aren't. The universe begins to speak to you directly through dreams, sensations, encounters, and messages. The veil that once clouded your vision begins to fall. And then comes the second revelation, the release of a karmic cycle. You may notice that you are ending something that had been repeating for years. A pain, a failure, a relationship that kept returning in the same way. And this doesn't happen by chance. The moon mark indicates that your soul has already learned what it needed. Now it's time to release the burden, to forgive, to break the pattern, and finally be free of an old energetic contract that kept you bound to repeated suffering. The release can be emotional, spiritual, or even physical, but it comes with force. This release may hurt. After all, the ego resists change. But what comes next is peace, its lightness, its clarity, and that marks the beginning of your true journey. Those who have the moon in their palm are not here to repeat stories. They are here to break patterns and illuminate paths. And in 2025, this process will accelerate like never before. Trust, because when the cycle ends, the new begins. Maybe after hearing about the spiritual awakening and the breaking of karmic cycles, you felt something shift inside, a memory, a shiver, a desire to know more. That's not a coincidence. Many people who carry the moon in their palm are already experiencing the first signs of this transformation without even realizing it. And maybe you are one of them. Have you been feeling more tired of certain conversations, places, or habits? As if something that once made sense now just doesn't fit anymore? Are you seeking more silence, questioning everything more deeply, feeling nostalgic for something you can't even explain? These are quiet symptoms of a process that doesn't start outside. It starts in the heart. Many report more intense dreams, stronger premonitions, or even a sudden urge to change their life, even without knowing where to go. Others begin to notice repeated numbers, signs in nature, strange encounters, and messages that seem tailor-made. Have you been through this? Then maybe the awakening is already underway, and the moon mark is just the external confirmation of what your soul has already begun to live within. This phase is confusing, yes, but also magical. It's like the veil is being lifted, layer by layer, and the more you allow yourself to feel, the more the answers start to appear. Keep paying attention, because once the signs begin, they don't stop. What comes next is deeper, and if you're already resonating with this, it's because you're ready to receive the rest of this message. After the spiritual awakening and the breaking of karmic cycles, something begins to emerge from within. Gifts that had been dormant, ready to be activated. Those who carry the crescent moon mark on the palm often possess subtle abilities from a young age. Sharp intuition, energetic sensitivity, ease with healing, communication, art, or even a spontaneous connection with the invisible. But for a long time, these talents were suppressed, ignored, or considered nonsense. Now they will begin to reveal themselves with power. You might start dreaming of symbols, feeling more empathy, reading situations before they happen, or even feeling drawn to study spiritual topics, alternative therapies, meditation, astrology, or something that never interested you before. This is not random. It's your gifts manifesting to serve your new purpose. They don't come from outside. They awaken from within. like memories from past lives resurfacing, now with more maturity to be lived consciously. And that's where the fourth revelation comes in, a shift in life purpose. Many people who carry this symbol will feel in 2025 a deep desire to start over, to change careers, locations, routines, or lifestyles. Not out of dissatisfaction, but out of clarity. The soul begins to point toward a different path. Something more connected with serving, healing, inspiring. It may seem confusing at first because it involves stepping out of comfort zones, but that initial discomfort opens the doors to a life with more meaning, more truth, and more spiritual alignment. You may feel like you're outgrowing your old world, and that is exactly what needs to happen for you to fit into the new one. The moon mark doesn't appear by accident. It shows up when the soul is ready to remember who it is and why it came. The gifts are your tools. The new purpose is your map. And when the two align, life stops being just about survival and becomes a path of light. Once your gifts begin to manifest and your life purpose starts to shift, life also changes the way it calls to you. And you may already be feeling it, even if you haven't found the words yet. You know that feeling when something's different within you. A discomfort in what used to feel comfortable. A desire to distance yourself from some people for no apparent reason. A call towards something new, even if you don't quite know what it is. Many people describe the beginning of curious sensations, a good emptiness, like something is being cleared out from within. A sense of peace appearing amid the chaos. Or even that classic confusion of, I don't know who I am anymore, but I know I'm no longer who I used to be. If this is happening to you, it means your gifts are not only awakening, they're reorganizing your energy. And that changes everything, what you attract, what you tolerate, and what you desire. You might feel more selective, more sensitive, more intuitive. Suddenly, shallow conversations are exhausting. Crowds drain you, and your soul begins to seek more nature, more silence, more meaning. Maybe you felt the urge to return to spiritual studies, or even to teach, heal, or create something with your hands, your voice, your gaze. And even if you don't yet know how to do it, it's your gift announcing itself. This is the point where life starts to test you. Will you ignore this calling, or begin to listen more closely? Because after this moment, coincidences multiply, the signs get clearer, and everything begins to align. And the most beautiful part? You don't need to force anything. You just need to accept that something new is being born inside you, and trust the timing of this transformation. One of the easiest signs to recognize when this transformation is underway is the arrival of someone who makes you think differently. It doesn't have to be a spiritual master in white robes or a guru in another country. It can be a new person who enters your life, an unexpected conversation, a video you stumble upon, or even a phrase you hear that feels like it was spoken just for you. Suddenly, something inside you lights up, and it never goes back to the way it was. This kind of encounter is more common than it seems, and at the same time profoundly transformative. Sometimes it's someone who appears only briefly but leaves a mark that changes your course. Other times, it's a new friendship that seems to come out of nowhere but brings advice, reflections, and even the courage to do something you've been putting off for years. The universe speaks to you through people. And when the soul is open, the messages arrive with clarity. You may notice that you're becoming interested in topics you previously ignored, or even feel like someone is mirroring you, revealing parts of yourself that were hidden. It's as if that person or content is showing you what you already felt, but couldn't yet put into words. And when that happens, there's no turning back. Awareness expands, intuition confirms, and life begins to move in a different direction. This is one of the most powerful experiences for those who carry the moon on their palm. The awakening triggered by something that seemed small but held immense power. Pay attention to encounters, casual conversations, and the content that touches your soul. They are signs, and when you are ready, the universe will show you exactly what you need to see, through the person you least expect. Maybe you've started paying more attention to small details since all this began. People who show up out of nowhere and say exactly what you needed to hear. Videos that pop up on your screen with titles that seem to call your name. A forgotten book on the shelf that you decide to open. And it answers a question that had been sitting in your heart for days. Coincidence? Number that synchronicity. When you begin to align with your purpose, the universe stops shouting and starts whispering. It sends delicate, repeated, gentle, yet precise messages. And the more you listen, the more they intensify. Life starts to function as a spiritual mirror. What you feel inside begins to materialize on the outside. People, phrases, paths, even obstacles all become part of your awakening process. It's common to look back and realize that person showed up at that moment for a reason. Or even, if I hadn't seen that video, I might not have made that choice. That's the beauty of awakening, when you stop believing in chance and start trusting the flow. You begin to understand that nothing reaches you by mistake. Everything serves a purpose on your path, even brief encounters and subtle messages. So if lately you've been feeling that things are strangely falling into place, don't fight it. Observe, be grateful, take notes. Because the more you show that you're paying attention, the more the universe trusts you to guide you clearly. And the more consciously you walk, the less weight you carry. That's what it means to live in alignment, to follow signs that seem small, but lead you exactly where you're meant to be. In every true transformation process, there comes a moment when the universe stops sending signs and waits for your response. This response comes in the form of a decision, and it may seem small at first glance. It could be accepting or rejecting an offer, saying yes or no to someone, staying where you are, or taking an uncertain step. But behind that lies a real energetic crossroads. And depending on the path you choose, the rest of your year can take completely different turns. Those who carry the moon in the palm of their hand are placed in situations where they must choose between continuing to live on autopilot or living in truth. And that choice is often uncomfortable because it usually involves leaving something behind. It could be a place, a habit, a relationship, or even a way of thinking. But this choice is not a punishment. It's a gift. It's the universe saying, "You've awakened. Now show that you're ready to live with awareness." This decision may come quietly, almost unnoticed, but you'll feel in your body that something has shifted. Your heart will beat differently. Your mind will resist, but your soul will know. And most importantly, there is no right or wrong choice. There's the choice that aligns with who you are becoming. If you choose out of fear, you'll repeat patterns. If you choose with courage, you'll open portals. And the moment to choose will come. Be ready to recognize it. This sixth revelation is the turning point. It's not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new cycle. The moon mark on your hand is not just a symbol. It's a reminder that you have free will, awareness, and power. And that your next decision may not change the world, but it will change yours. And that is everything. After all these revelations, maybe your head is spinning and your heart is pounding. It could be that you felt like every part of this video was written just for you. Or maybe you're feeling that quiet doubt. Does all this really have to do with me? The answer is within you, and if you've made it this far, it's because some part of you already recognizes this truth, and that is the beginning of change. Don't wait for someone else to confirm what you're feeling. You don't need permission to change, nor a sign from the outside to trust. You already know. And everything shared here isn't a formula, nor a rigid prediction. It's a mirror, a reminder, an internal map. And now, with all this alive inside you, comes the most important question. Are you willing to live this new version of yourself? Transformation doesn't happen all at once. It comes in waves, first within, then without, first in perception, then in action. What changes your life isn't the signs. It's what you do with them. So from now on, observe more, feel more, trust more, and begin, little by little, to align your choices with who you are becoming. That's the real miracle, when the invisible begins to transform the visible. The moon mark on the palm of your hand may be rare, but what it activates is eternal. It's your essence. And now that you've heard this calling, the path will no longer stop revealing itself, because those who recognize their own light, even in silence, are already ready to illuminate the next step. If you've made it this far, know this. This message didn't find you by accident. Maybe you don't have all the answers yet. Maybe you're in the middle of the confusion between the old that wants to stay and the new that wants to be born. But one thing is certain, you are on the path. And this path doesn't require haste, it requires presence. The simple act of listening, feeling, and allowing yourself to reflect is already the first step toward transformation. The moon mark may be on your hand, or it may be simply vibrating within you as an energy still taking shape. It doesn't matter. What matters most is that now you are aware, and when awareness awakens, nothing goes back to the way it was. The world may stay the same, but you are no longer the same, and that changes everything. If this message touched something inside you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with someone else who also needs to hear this silent truth. Sometimes a message like this arrives at exactly the right moment and lights up the spark that was missing. And write this phrase in the comments: I accept the truth that already lives within me. By writing this, you're not just confirming what you felt, you're honoring your journey. Because in the end, what transforms us isn't what we hear, it's what we allow to awaken.